Hey, what is up? What is up, YouTube gaming family? It is I, K-Rod here. I'm back at it with another video for y'all today. And yeah, man, let's get right into it. I got a pretty good video for y'all today. And yeah, we're gonna be talking about some video games for Mortal Kombat versus Marvel Universe. So, before I get into this great conversation, be sure to like this video, share it around. Appreciate y'all for watching this video. And yeah, I have a lot to unpack with this particular topic. So, for today's topic, we're going to be making the case of why I believe there should be a Mortal Kombat versus Marvel Universe fighting game. And yeah, let's get right into it. But before I do that, let me show you guys a comment from a fellow YouTuber that I like watching. His name is One Step. He's a fighting game YouTuber, and I like watching him a lot. And I made a really good roster list for a video that he made on a potential Mortal Kombat versus how should I say Mortal Kombat versus Marvel Universe um roster setup. So he kind of did like his own thing. He put his own characters into it, and it was like a really good roster. So I'm gonna show you guys like my comment that I wrote on his channel, so I can like explain to you guys like why I think this would be like a good roster if it were to happen, in the future. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna pause the video and I'm gonna show you guys that comment. Hold on. Alright, I am back. So this is the comment that I have here. If you guys want to go check him out, he's actually live right now. His name is One Step. He's a pretty good YouTuber. I like him a lot. So this is what I said. I said, great video. Thank you for posting this. As I was asking you to make a video like this in the first place. LOL. I like your roster a lot. Here's my roster for Mortal Kombat versus Marvel Comics universe for at least 50 characters. 25 characters for each side, along with 10 DLC slots, which would be accounted for 5 picks for each side. And I said, let me know if this is a good roster. Well, if this is a good roster, picks, selection. Also, we need fatalities and brutalities in the game, along with stage transitions and stage, fatals. So this is like my roster that I picked out. For the MK side, we have Scorpion, we have Sub Zero. I put in Triborg, I put in Sector, Cyrax, Sub Zero, yeah, Cyber Sub Zero, and Smoke. And then I put in Reptile, I put in Jax, I put in Sonya, I put in Liu Kang, I put in Kung Lao, I put Raiden, I put Shao Kahn, I put Shang Tsung, I put Quan Chi, Shinnok, Onaga, Kitana, Melina, Ermac, Rain, Tremor, Noob Saiba, Nightwolf, Sindel, Jade, Goro, and Shiva. So that's my 25-man list. And that's for the Mortal Kombat side. And then for the Marvel side, we have Iron Man, Storm, Collector, Onslaught, Thanos. I have Wolverine. I have Magneto. I have Executioner. Blackheart. He's a really good, deadly character. He would be awesome. I also have the Hulk. He should also have like different skins for Gray Hulk and Red Hulk. I think that would be pretty dope, honestly. Captain Marvel. We have this would be like the male and female versions. So I think that would be pretty good. Ghost Rider, that would be awesome to have him in the roster. That's my pick for that. I had Doctor Strange, I had Spider-Man, Captain America, Loki, Thor, Odin. That's basically like the father of Thor and Loki. And then we have Nightmare, Black Panther, Scarlet Witch, um, Abomination, and Red Hulk. Yeah, that would be like the variation switch. So yeah, I mean like you could basically like put them like right there. They could be like two different characters that kind of like switch in. Kind of like how like Noob Smoke is like in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance or Deception. But I think that would be pretty cool. They can kind of like tag in if they wanted to. But Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, the other character that I also put down is Venom, Carnage, and then Green Goblin as my final character. And then for the DLC characters, I have Fujin Oniro. For those of you that may not know him, he is Sector's father, and he was the Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei. I want to say he was. Well, I don't think he was like the original founder of the Lin Kuei, but he was like the old, like he was like the much older Grandmaster starting out in the Lin Kuei when he was like having to, run the Lin Kuei and turn it into like the clan that it is, being violent and evil. Another character that I had is Blaze from Mortal Kombat Armageddon. That's Argus and Delia's, weapon, to go to basically fight up against, the evils of Outworld and basically balance out what the realms. I also have King Jared, Sindel's former husband, and then Garrus. Obviously, if you guys know Garrus, he's like, he's like Chronica's, time machine weapon in a way, where he's able to go back in time and he could basically like stop everything in time and be like this ultra monster where, he's really powerful. Honestly, Garrus is probably just as powerful to any like top Marvel character that you could probably see on like, on my list, but he would have wiped out like most of everybody. I would even probably say like the only few characters that would actually even defeat him would have to be like ultra gods. Like they would have to be like the strongest of the strongest characters. But Garrus, he would be that powerful enough to take your abilities and basically warp time, in his own, manner, and he could just defeat you, right then and there. But yeah, Garrus would be awesome on the roster. Another, well, yeah, but the other part of this comment that I had for my Marvel pick, for the DLC picks, I have Sleepwalker. For those of you that don't know Sleepwalker, he was like a really old school, OG Marvel character. He would be insane on the roster. I can definitely tell you guys that. But if you guys want to go check out Sleepwalker, definitely check him out. He is a dog. Like that character is so crazy, but his storyline is like so beautiful. But Sleepwalker would be insane. Hela, the goddess of death, she would be a monster. That would be like literally icing on the cake if she it like personally with me, if she was on the roster, I would pay money to play Hela. Another character that I like is Silence. This is a female Spider-Man technically, but she's a variant that heals herself and she has like all these like really good, I guess like basically like sorcery driven abilities to be like really powerful. But yeah, Silence, she would be really awesome if she made it to the roster. Another character is Polaris. Polaris, I think that's a female, but that character is super OP. Polaris is pretty much like one of the strongest characters, throughout the Marvel universe. But yeah, that would be like a really good pick. And the final character that I had was Enchantress. She is a straight up demon with her like abilities. If she made the roster, I'd be so happy if she had made that. Yeah, like if she was able to make the whole, well, if she was able to be DLC, for the roster. So yeah, I would say this is a pretty good list. I'm going to probably just screenshot these so I can kind of like explain why this would be a pretty good pick. Well, a pretty good selection as far as like how the game would go. But I think if you guys are true fans, like for Mortal Kombat and Marvel, I think this is a really good roster, and I think like like I think stylistically, a lot of these fights would would go down really really you know very neck and neck to the wire, and they would be pretty OP fights. So this is my whole roster. And One Step, made a comment right here. He said, "Wow, freaking awesome list, my dude. Some great picks there, and someone's like most people want to think about So I personally think this is a good roster, and then I basically said what I what I had like initially said in the past to comment back to him. And yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, this is a really good roster. I think this is pretty OP, and I'm actually gonna explain like why this game should happen. And give me 1 second, because I'm gonna go back to Sikander, and I'm actually just gonna play some gameplay out of him. So I'll be right back, and just give me 1 second. Hold on. All right, I'm back. So I got some Sikander 555 gameplay going on. If you guys know Sikander, definitely give him a follow. So I'm just gonna do some commentary, over his particular live stream, that he had. So yeah, definitely go follow him. If you guys want to go, if y'all want to go, check him out. So yeah, like I was actually going to say, the reason why I think this game should be next, or possibly in development to be created, even though that it's very unlikely that MK and Marvel would ever get together, simply because of the copyright battles that Warner Brothers would probably have with Marvel. And I think honestly, if it's meaning to say that, a lot of people would say like, oh well, do you realize how much money that would be put into, the actual game itself, and how much, investment that some of these actors would have to come in to voice characters and all this crazy nonsense. It just wouldn't happen. And somehow people just make this weird connotation to just say like, if it just happens to that degree, it's not going to be worth it, because there's going to be so much money having to be invested, and it's not going to, make much of like a real difference. But personally with me, I think this is a really good idea. I think if you like, if you were to take all this crazy copyright nonsense, to the side, and some third party developer group came together to actually make a game like this would be a billion-dollar industry game. Simply due to the fact that you have identities that nobody doesn't talk about in the Marvel universe, where characters can be put on the spotlight. And I personally think that it's really telling to have something like that, because not a lot of people can actually, how should I say, not oh man, like not a lot of people can actually think about the amount of, you know, I guess like fluid content that a lot of these characters bring from the Mortal Kombat side and the Marvel side, where if you had like that, alternate universe merger similar to like MK versus DC, but now it's like more like, let the Marvel universe coming together with the MK universe, but everything is like all, how should I say, prioritized with such a massive, storyline twist. Um, I think personally it would be really good. It would benefit both sides, simply because both hardcore fans will come out to support all the characters. And I think as far as like the storyline, I think MK versus Marvel would be a pretty good storyline, simply because, I don't think it would be like DC, storyline where you just have like, like this weird merger, and then and then for some odd reason, both enemy side, well, both faction sides just all come together, and then they're all controlled by like this one, weird, energy, I guess like, factored, element that causes them to be enraged to fight each other. And then, they all go to war, simply because Shao Kahn and Darkseid just got merged, together, and then therefore Dark Khan, actually made his very first like appearance, being like this super OP monster that just that turns everybody into, like a raging, monster to like basically go after people. So, well, just to basically go after their own allies, and then also go after certain, enemies that they fight from either DC or Marvel. So I mean, it like, it's kind of like a brutality type of rage where like they're getting super angry and then they want to like kill, like their contemporaries. But I don't think that storyline should be a thing. I think if we want to have like a really good storyline, I think the storyline should be set up where you actually have like a strong pathing, like, how should I say, you should have like a really strong background that explains like, okay, like, these two realms come together, and who's going to be managing all the corruption coming into the realms. And how I would see this going down is like, you could have Shao Kahn basically be in this massive fight with Raiden, and let's just say him and Raiden fight it out. It could basically be Armageddon, but then it talks about Armageddon creating this whole warp zone into the other realm that portals everybody in, but it's like a black hole that sucks everybody out. So let's just say everybody died in Armageddon, but then this warp hole takes Raiden and Shao Kahn, and then when Raiden, like, basically when Raiden is about to die by Shao Kahn's hammer, he says he must win. He could just take that reference from MK9, but then this warp hole just takes everybody in, and then it basically merges it into like another realm. But it does the same thing to, like it does the same thing in Marvel Universe, where you could have like, let's just say Captain America going up against Thanos, in his massive war, and then Iron Man, he's basically going at it with, with Thanos, and Thanos is basically about to kill Captain America, and then Iron Man almost came close, to dying, where he's like basically taking Thanos's glove, so therefore he could basically snap his fingers. And then what happens is that both sides are basically coming together, but it resets like the whole timeline. But it now goes into like understanding who are these characters that came from the other realm, and then they just basically like start the storyline from there, where they could just like fight it out, and then basically, fight for, supreme dominance. So personally with me, I think that would be a really good storyline. I'm obviously not gonna explain like the whole storyline, but have something like that, like all the characters that I have particularly mentioned, like Onaga, Shinnok, all the top characters that would just be absolutely demonic coming into the story. That would be huge. So I think that's something that NRS and Marvel can definitely do. As far as with the gameplay, oh man, I think the gameplay should be, I don't know, it should be like a mix of MKX and probably, I don't know, maybe Marvel versus Capcom 2, but don't like make it too arcadey. Just make it into like a good like MK Deception like gameplay, where like every character has the ability to do some really good combos and have like enough defensive mechanics to basically whiff punish, like opponents that are not that are not too broken with like their moves, and like you're able to like think with like your abilities. So I think overall, I think that would be a pretty good gameplay to have. Now, some people will try to argue and say, "Oh no, like you're just being weird, man." Marvel gameplay in the fighting sense up against Mortal Kombat wouldn't work, blah blah blah. But it's like, why was it that Marvel they never ever created a game ever similar to Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter? Like the only like closest Marvel game that we'll ever get to 3D is maybe Marvel Mar like a Marvel Nemesis. I think that was like the name of the game. I think it was called X-Men. Yeah, it was either X-Men Rise of the Imperfects. I forgot like what that game was called, but basically like that game was like a third person fighting game, but it was more like a arena, beat 'em up type of game, but like you use like the environment as your weapon type of thing. So I think having like a game like that would be not really fun to play. So I mean, even if you had it set up like Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, I mean, that would be pretty dope. But I think like having it just simple as you see like right here in MK1, I'm definitely fine with that. Um, on top of that, I think like what you could also do is like you could probably have like the breaker meter. I would like to see what you could do with like the EX meter. And if you want a breaker, you can break it like I mean, I'm not really like a fan of breaking at 3 bars, but I think breaking at 2 bars is like I think breaking at 2 bars is fair because like the thing is that if you get like a good whiff punish off of somebody and they somehow try to do something corny to you to try to get some damage and then you can break at 2 bars, I'm personally fine with that. So yeah, I would say have it similar to like the MK9 breaker system, but obviously add like the MK1 component where you're able to break during like a fatal blow, or let's just say I don't even know I don't know like if like if having the X-ray system come back or the fatal blow be put in place. Like personally with me, if you're going to fatal blow, fatal blows should be um they should be reactable, but they shouldn't have any armor. I think that's the biggest issue that I have with fatal blows. If they have armor, then obviously broken characters that pro players will just abuse will just say, oh well, use this character's super OP and that character's super OP, but they're just gonna be like abusing it because they're just basically like abusive trash players. But I mean that's what all the pros will do, quote unquote. So I think personally, maybe having the fatal blow system is pretty good. I'm not really like against it. I think it's fine to have it, but if you're gonna have it, you need to not add armor to a fatal blow. Like a fatal blow should be reactable for you to know what your next move is. If you don't react properly to the fatal blow, then you get hit by it. Because I think that's a lot better rather than just making it unreactable and then it's like, okay, like I don't know why that person would fatal blow if you couldn't particularly react to the fatal blow on time. So I think the fatal blow system is fine. Just make sure that you have like a defensive option to counter up against it, and just get rid of armor. Like I think armor is pretty dumb. I'm fine with having EX armor if somebody's trying to like pressure you, and you can't get out you can't get out of like the corner. So you could have like EX armor moves if you're getting pressured, or you want to extend damage. So I'm fine with that. Some other things I would like to see in the game mechanically. Um, I don't mind having maybe like the down two, uppercut cancel, where if you hit the opponent with a down two, special launcher, so you can like whiff punish them, and basically you can do like more damage, in the combo. But it's basically unbreakable if you spend 2 bars, for it. I think that's a pretty good idea because now that will make like opponents guess more with your moves. But on top of that, if you're like, in a clutch game and you're trying to win, that actually helps you win games, pretty well. So I think that would be a great addition to be added to the game. Um, Man, I would say what maybe I don't know. Some other mechanics I would like to see. Um, I'd probably say, well, like I was gonna say maybe let the parry system should be put in, but no, I don't. I don't think parry should really be like a thing. Just have a good up block. Make sure up block is in the game, and if you are going to, block, there should be a well, if you're gonna flawless block, there should be a chip damage blocker that prevents you from getting chipped out. So like if you flawless block like the first hit, you don't get hit with any fall. Well, you don't get chipped out with any damage that's going to basically take you down with anything like that. So yeah, I think overall, mechanically that should not be a problem because if anything, maybe like a good portion of characters that would be zoners, like a Storm or Captain and Captain Marvel, or maybe Enchantress or Scarlet Witch. You just have to have like anti zoning abilities for most characters, and then even if it's like a melee, at least have like, good, whiff punishing abilities to like pressure them so they're not able to like do their crazy moves for them to like be super OP. So yeah, I think overall, if NRS and Marvel, if they were to like develop that pretty well, yeah, like I'm definitely fine with that. Some game modes that I probably like to see, definitely have Conquest mode. I think Conquest mode should probably be in there. But how it works is like you can select your character, but you basically decide what path you want to go with like that character, and it's kind of like a campaign type of thing where you basically like go at it with like multitude, like, basically gauntlet level fights, and if you win you get rewards, and then you start like taking over certain territories or certain realms. So I think that would be pretty cool, because I was going to say if you did have like a conquest mode that's like similar to MK Armageddon Conquest, I mean, I don't think that's really necessary. I think story mode should kind of like give you the ability to kind of like choose your own path with your own character. But then again, like, it's like both sides. So it's like, you would have to like, write it out really well with like a good storyline. And then, it should be like a decision making type of game where if you make this certain decision with your character, that will affect you, in the story. So, oh wait, hold on. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. So, yeah, yeah. Basically, to kind of like finalize this out, I think if you had like a mode, you know, well, I said initially with conquest mode, if you had it similar to MK Armageddon or Deception, I don't think that's really necessary to have something like that. I think having like a good story mode that kind of like gives you like the proper path of like if you want to be like a good character or a bad character depending on how your decision making goes between either side faction for Marvel or Mortal Kombat. That would be pretty cool, kind of similar to like MK versus DC, but just make it more evil. um yeah, I'm totally fine with that. And then other modes that you can obviously have, you can have test your might, test your luck. You can have mm, I was thinking like you could have like a mode that's kind of dedicated to Marvel. Maybe have like, man, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know like what you could really do with Marvel, because having like a Marvel game mode, I just don't see it. Like it would have to just be oriented with Mortal Kombat. So I mean, obviously you can put the deception concept. You could have like motor combat between Marvel and Mortal Kombat. You could obviously have something like that. You could have Mortal Kombat chess. Um, man, like I don't even know. Like I just don't know what would be a good funny idea to put inside the game. I think if you just take all the pages from Deception and just add it in there, obviously have tag team mode. You could have 2v2, and then you can basically tag in your partner, and then you can kind of like do whatever you want. For the most part, obviously have a traditional 1v1, no trash cameos. Get the cameo system out of here. Um, and yeah, what are some other things? Um, I think that's about it. I mean, have 1v1, 2v2, have all the Mortal Kombat modes like test your luck, test your might, and then you can kind of do everything from there. I mean, there's really nothing that I could ever think of, but I think that would be pretty decent, you know? I think that's basically it. As far as everything else goes, like the cosmetics and all that, obviously give every character their own customized preset slots. I say, you know, you should be able to do up to like 5 or probably 10 of them. I think 10, but I think 5 is pretty decent. You know, you can kind of do, you know, at least up to 5, and then if you want to customize certain gear out of like your character, you can do that. I think with that would make better sense if you could do that. Customize as much gear as you want. Um, as far as like the mechanics with like gameplay, should variations come back from Mortal Kombat to be put into the game? I would say absolutely not. Just keep it simple. Give every character all their really good, you know, abilities of like how good, you know, of a character that they are in the comics, and just make it competitive enough where the moves are really strong and there's good counterplay up against, you know, each and every character. Um, I would say add in the mechanics with I'd say like the tech throw. Yeah, tech throw mechanics. I would like to see stage transitions come to the game. I think that would be really good. And obviously having, you know, fatalities, brutalities. I like stage fatalities, and then stage brutalities. I like to see that. And obviously bring in practice mode where you're able to like queue in for like a match and practice while you're practicing on your character. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, you know, have a good customization system for your gear, like your weapons and your clothing. And yeah, I would also say for Combat League, if there is going to be like a rank mode system, um make sure there's placements. I think what MK really did really bad for their gameplay is that they don't have a ranked placement system where if you are already high elo and you're just a good player, you should be able to climb a lot faster by doing placements rather than starting from the very bottom and having to grind all the way to the top. So I think rank placement games would be pretty good. I would say probably up to 10 games. That would be pretty good. And if you win the mass majority of your games, then you should be in the highest elo possible. I was gonna say maybe add more ranks, and then obviously have it incentivized like MK11 Combat League days. Like every time that you rank up, you get more gear, and I would say maybe give players more incentive to kind of like maybe get more points. Where if you're able to like buy gear, you know, inside it, like, you know, inside of the Mortal Kombat premium store. Maybe like give players, well, I don't want to see microtransactions in the game, but give us like an in-game currency, kind of like dragon crystals, but make it simplistic. You know what I'm saying? Like like it doesn't have to be super duper crazy. Like have it like MK9 where you could have like the crypt, being available to you, but while you're in the crypt, you can unlock skins, and then on top of that, there's like a warrior shrine where if you want to get like the high level skins where you've been saving up gold and you've been saving up other stuff to kind of like add into like your collection for how much finances that you got, you can get skins without having to spend any money by saving up X amount of points for whatever type of resources that you save, so you can get those premium level skins. But if you don't want to do that and you want to get the skins right away, you could just buy them right then and there. And also like I don't like the fact that in MK1 they were like rotating skins to make it harder for you to like get the skin that you want. Any DLC for skins should be available to you to buy, but if you want to get the skin right then and there should probably be incentives for you to, like, let's just say if you do a lot of towers and you just want to like get those skins because they're so good, make them available in towers, right? Because at least in Mortal Kombat 9 and 10 and at least in MK11, you are getting rewarded for getting skins after you beat a tower. So like at least in MK9, you got all the alternative skins if you beat every single tower, regardless of the difficulty for the character, for you to basically be at that level to like get all the secondary skins. So like I think for something like that, NRS should definitely go back to that. Do the same thing for Marvel characters too, because that would make everything a lot better and a lot more, how should I say, a lot more entertaining. Um, yeah. So now that I got that out the way, what are some other, well, what are some possible other ideas that can be put into the game? Um, I would say have lobbies. Lobbies definitely need to be put into the game. I would like to see online tournament communities. So if you want to have like a tournament community, I would like to see online tournaments where, let's just say, they're like online, open to the public type of tournaments, or if you want to create your own tournament, that can be something that can be done. Um I think there should be, I don't even know. I think there should be like basically exclusive online tournaments that are free to play, and if you win, you can get like, let's just say, skins, or you can get maybe money out of it. I'd like to see something like that. That would be pretty cool. Maybe like $100 or something. I don't even know. Like definitely incentivize fans with skins and giving more gold or giving more points to get more skins and more gear. So I think that would be pretty cool. And man, um I was gonna say maybe for more mechanical gameplay, you could probably bring in air combat, bring in weapon combat. I think weapon combat should be a thing. And I think maybe the stances should also be good too. Definitely be definitely be creative with like all the stances where every character has like different infinites and different defensive opportunities to basically beat characters more. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think I pretty much hashed out as much as I could, but yeah, let me know what y'all think. I think the roster that I have, if you guys want to just pause, pause the video and take a look at it, that would be a really good roster. It would be very competitive. It would actually make people want to play these characters that nobody ever like has ever heard of in the past. But it would definitely like make the MCU universe a lot more popular, and the MK universe would benefit really well. So Yeah, I'm like for me personally, y'all know me, like I'm gonna be maining Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Shao Kahn, probably Liu Kang. I'm definitely gonna be beating the crap out of people with Liu Kang. And then I think Marvel side, I would probably like I'm definitely playing like my boy Hulk, Venom, Carnage, Spider-Man, Wolverine. So yeah, I got like a whole lot of mains that I would definitely play. So it would be fun. I thought the female fights would be dope. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what y'all think, and I will catch you guys later. I gotta get ready for work tomorrow, so unfortunately, I don't have the luxury to do whatever I want to do. So hey, man, once I get like my own business going, I'm definitely gonna be doing YouTube videos a lot more, and I would definitely do it on my free time, even when I'm working. So that's my goal. So all right, so I'll see you guys later. Hope you guys have a great night, and yeah, man, thank you guys for coming, and I'll see you guys. Yep, I will see you guys, later. So peace, and I'll catch you guys, look around. All right, bye.